If I added up all the lands that I own virtually across all kinds of survival games, I bet I'm almost the Warren Buffett of video game empires and bases. Probably not. So where the hell am I? Some days that's hard to tell. Actually, I am in Arma 3 Exile on the Taviana map. I was feeling a little nostalgic and also wanted to check out Exile again since it had been a few months or whatever since the last time I recorded any, really. This time, instead of being a mountain hermit, I decided I would actually build some bases and check out and see if that had gotten any less frustrating. Now, I'm special, so things that frustrate me don't frustrate other people, but in Arma 2 DayZ, building was extremely frustrating, especially when you're partnered with somebody as good at games as Agent K, who seems to be able to figure it out in 8/10 of a second. So I thought I would shoot a little video here on Taviana of how you actually build stuff in Exile. It hasn't changed much from Arma 2, and probably nobody's going to get any use out of this because it'll be about the 5 billionth how to build video that's swarming around YouTube. But I found a couple things interesting. One positive and one negative, I guess. Not really a negative, just more like why. So, for those of you that have never built, it may help. Who knows? So, you see down there, I have a workbench. You need that. You will need that a workbench. You saw the flag when I first opened. Here's my flagpole. That's called a plot pole, or in Exile, a territory pole. You need that. You buy them for 5,000 pop tabs, which is the money here in Exile, at the trader. So you're going to need that before you build, which is kind of BS, but I'll get into that a little later. Also, too, I can tell you from personal experience that you'll want to build away from buildings for the most part, or at least put your territory flag away from buildings. On this server, I didn't seem to be able to put them inside buildings as I was trying to put them inside the castle that's behind this base. But in other servers where I tried it, I was able to put the flag down, but then it went sideways, and if you got within a meter of it, it killed you. So, having learned from those mistakes, I put it outside this castle, and that allowed me to build all of this. Now, you can go into what's known as your tablet or whatever. I don't even know what the hell they call this. Oops, I fucked up already. You can go to territory, and you can go to, hey, show me my radius. Now, if I step outside, it will show me every place I can build, all those little red dots. I have the basic 15 meter radius, so I could build over there, I could build over there. Boy, am I glad those trees respawned with restart. They were kind of laying all over the place, although I got this one a little close. It might prove to be fun for building here in a minute. But there is your workbench. I don't know how far you can be away from it and still do stuff. We're probably going to find out here in a second. In fact, is it going to let me move it? No, workbench, there we go, move. Yes. See, it even let me move it, and now it's freaking out. I'm going to put it against this wall. There we go. Because my storage crates are on the other side, and hopefully I can just build from there. But you will need that. You will also need, hopefully I have some on me. Oh, I do have a bunch of crap on me. You will need this handsaw. You will need an axe, which I'm highlighting right now. The only difference between this and Arma 2 DayZ is you will need this handsaw. They added that as a step. You can cut trees with the axe and it'll give you these wood logs, but then to turn them into planks, which you need for everything else, you need a handsaw. It really feels like an addition that was like, well, this is Arma 3. How do we make it different than Arma 2? Not really necessary, but it's not really a negative thing. It's more of a why thing. So then you go over here. Well, you don't have to go over here, but I'm probably close enough. And you double click on the logs. And then you click down and, hey, I want to craft some wood planks. And I can craft 10 of them. So I will craft 10 of them. Hey, I was close enough. I think it's 3 meters. Still, like Arma 2. Okay, so I still have some wood logs left. Now, I need to go into one of these storages. Yeah, that's a sniper rifle. There's usually only 2 or 3 players on a server, so that I wasn't being pestered. I picked servers where there was very few players. I still tend to live like a hermit on full servers because there's really no point. Although I did put this base in a location I would call, I don't give a fuck. If I get attacked, I get attacked. There's an armor. There's an army barracks right below me. There's a town not too far either. In fact, oh no, I'm wrong side of the mountain from the infamous biplane incident. You'll have to ask Agent K about that. I don't talk about it. It was horrible. Okay, so I do have some walls. All right, so once you have planks, sorry about that, I got a little sidetracked. Once you have planks, do I have enough? Yeah, I do. Once you have planks, you go into recipes. Now, all this other stuff up here, the plastic case, camo tent, long pier, tavern, I don't know if that's Exile or one of the other mods that I have to play this server. There's something called the extended base mod. There's also something called the community base add-on mod. Exile might have a lot of this, but it also might be mods. But the cool thing about what Arma 3 has done is when you launch Arma 3, if you go to servers on the launcher, not in game, and you search for Exile or whatever else you want to play, when you go to click join, it will tell you what mods you need, and if they're in the Steam Workshop, you can just subscribe to them. If they're not in the Steam Workshop or haven't been recognized by the Steam Workshop, I guess it seems like sometimes that happens, it will ask you, do you want to search on the Steam Workshop or do you want to search on the web? I generally do both and usually find it. Sometimes I have to download it from Armaholic, which is fine, except that, wow, you run a site that's meant for mods and your downloads are that fucking slow, pathetic, as always. But it makes it easier than some of the running around you had to do in Arma 2 DayZ to get it working. And honestly, I've had very little problem with version mismatches or not having the right mod. You still need quite a few mods for most Exile servers, and I'll get into that a little more toward the end of the video. But anyway, so now I want to build a regular wall. So I just go like that. I'm near my thingy. Let's go ahead and craft all 2 of them. Okay, so now we're going to go up top. We're going to do the scary side first, so in case maybe you guys get to see me die. Because I don't trust these. After a couple deaths, I don't trust these flags at all. So now I go to Wood Wall Kit. Clicky mouse. Construct. And you'll see up here I'm in free mode. You have grid mode and snap mode. And obviously you can, press a button for each of those. You can toggle physics, toggle assistant. I haven't actually tried toggle assistant. Freeze object. You got your elevation, rotation, distance, large steps, smaller steps, place, and abort. Now, some of this was in the later DayZ mods like Epoch and I think Overclock, but even those that had snapping, the snapping didn't work really well. I mean, this base is wonky because I was in a hurry and didn't really give a fuck. But it seems like with this Exile, or this latest build of Exile, or later builds, it's a lot easier to just place and go. So now, the way I've been doing it is I just hit snap mode. Okay, I'm in snap mode. Now you see that little blue arrow over there in front of me. I'll go into, see that guy? I am going to click on him. Oh look, it turned orange. Now, now it's set. And I just hit spacebar. Do not hit trigger or you'll scare the shit out of yourself and fire a bullet. If you played any of the DayZ style mods, hats off to you if you've never done that. You're also probably lying because I think everybody does it. Anyway, so then you go 3 again. And I just realized I fucked up because I wanted to show you something else. So we'll have to go back downstairs. Sometimes it'll do that. I always use E to turn it. It seems like they seem to match up. Okay, so now I've got that. Also, too, just because my plot pole was showing on other servers, it seemed like you had to be able to get to the base of the plot pole to steal it. I slipped up to some people's bases that weren't home because I'm a big pussy. and I couldn't steal it because I wasn't near the base of it. I still like covered mine up. By the way, bonus points if you know what the hell I named this base. It's the only Danish words I know. Let me see if I've got any. I thought I had some more lumber packs. I would. Well, there we go. Planks. Okay, I'm gonna get all these planks, and I'm gonna show you. The only thing I found tricky about this was the fact that the ceiling snapping took me a second to figure out. So if you're a little slow and stupid like me, fuck. Speaking of slow and stupid, I got away from that. Maybe I can do it up here without falling. Wood plank recipes. Craft wood floor. Hey, I'm close enough. Maybe can I craft? No, I only want to craft one for now because I don't know. Okay, so that, yeah, there we go. By the way, for those of you that know me and have played DayZ with me, you'll notice that I'm rocking an Arma 3 version of a DMR. Hey, that gun has never let me down. My own stupidity and impatience has let me down plenty of times playing these games and gunfights, but, where's my floor kit? Did I build a wall kit? I am an idiot. Okay, so let's, wall. Yeah, I built a wall kit. I'm a bonehead. Go to wood floor. Try that again. Okay. There's the wood floor. Jesus fucking Christ. You mental. You've been up for several hours. You shouldn't be this stupid. Alright, so then you go to wood floor kit. Now, again, this probably isn't confusing to other people, but for those poor souls that are like me. Now, okay, so you see, it gives you all these different ones. I want that one. When it lines up like that, then I can go like so. Now, here's where it gets a little different, to me anyway. You gotta go like that, and then you gotta hit page up until it goes up. I'm sure that you could probably do it differently, but I thought that was the best. So, in general, I think this is far faster snapping and far better than any Arma mod has ever been. I mean, I built 2 walls and a roof and nothing flat. Seriously, I'm here all by myself on this server, including going in and get the door locks. It probably only took me 2.5 hours to build all this. And I mean, I ran to the trader, which is way far away from here. It's like 3 kilometers or something. I didn't run. I drove a vehicle I wanted to sell, and then I ran back. So that's legitimately running 3 kilometers plus building all this. Now, in fairness, I did do some building on another base, on another server, what I like to call the Mountain Hermit base, which you'll see at the end of this video, if everything works right. So overall, I'm really happy with Exile. As you can see, it's pretty simplistic building. I would say the only hard thing to find would be this bloody handsaw. Some servers, if they have lots of industrial areas, you'll find it pretty easily. On Tanoa, I struggled for probably about 6 hours to find one. But once I did, my base went up pretty quickly. Here, I really wouldn't consider it a struggle. I kind of was farting around and selling some spawn vehicles that I found and getting kitted up. So I really probably found it before I was in, oh no, I want to build a base and this is the only thing I'm waiting on mode, unlike when I was on Tanoa. This server has pretty high loot. I would say, to me, that's one of the downsides of the different servers. You either run into ones where you're kitted in like 5 minutes, which I was because I landed at an airfield that Agent K and I used as a base in Arma 2 DayZ. Which, by the way, is part of the reason why I'm saying nostalgia, or said nostalgia earlier. This is the first map that I really recorded anything YouTube that, like, I was not taking it seriously, but actually going, yeah, I want to do this. I'm so good. And I've done fuck all with it since. But, so I kind of like this map. I drive by certain things and I remember, you know, incidents we had and fun we had doing it. And that's, you know, nostalgia can be problematic, but it's not always a bad thing. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So so this had really high loot, and so I basically was kitted up. I didn't have this DMR. I found that yesterday. But You know, and so it just didn't take me very long. I'll run back here into the castle. I'm not actually trying to block off the castle. I think that would be damn near impossible. But I do like having it here. That's kind of fun. And also, they're going to see the base first. And so if I can get out the back of it, I may put up some half walls. My tractor, paying homage to you-know-who. And also, it was the cheapest one. The Golf was actually about the same price, but the Golf seems to be a piece of shit in this game. It takes like one hit into a bush and it pretty much loses a tire. With my crappy driving skills, that isn't going to work. So it seems to be feast or famine as far as loot goes. The other thing I would say is Exile is a little difficult to deal with because of what I was talking about earlier, that you need so many mods to make a complete experience. I mean, I know DayZ got other mods later, like Epoch and Overpoch and, you know, the early breaking point and various other things. But honestly, this one is really boring if it's just Exile. You need other mods to complete the experience. And I think that hurts it to a certain extent, because I don't think players really want to invest in all that tinkering anymore. I think gamers as a whole are getting lazier and lazier by the minute, and that's not a cheap shot at anyone. I'm kind of in that same boat. The other problem, I think, with a lot of these Arma 3 Exile mods, or mods like it, is the survival world has moved on. You know, if you think back, DayZ and Minecraft, kind of in their own unique path, really hardcore, really, you know, more casual, really blew open the gates on survival. And so now you have so many games that basically do the same thing. You know, some games like 7 Days to Die, Miscreated, Ark Survival Evolved, both Worm Online and Worm Unlimited. What other ones am I missing? Oh, that's good enough. You get my point. All of those games have come out now. They all do a very similar thing. I just kind of like the guns and the body armor and some of the more realistic. Arma 3 is not a super realistic military sim. Get over yourselves. I don't know, there's just something about Arma that always draws me back to it. But I can definitely see why Exile is having more problems than it used to. You know, than in the DayZ era, because DayZ was so new and so such a new experience and such a complete experience, even on its own, that Arma 3 was going to have a hard time topping it. I don't think doing things like making you have to have a saw to build bases is really doing it damage. You know, and I definitely don't think that the standalone is causing it any issues. That standalone is never going to be finished. It is a disaster area, and I'm surprised Bohemia hasn't just decided to run for it with that. And so, you know, I like Exile. If you own Arma 3, it's worth it for just the experience. It does kind of bring back that nostalgia for Arma 2 DayZ. You know, but this is my more who gives a fuck base. In a minute, I'm going to take you to my Tanoa base that's more McGee, shall we call it, more Hobo Hilton Bush Hermit. Hey, and presto changeo, we're on a different server. This is the Arma 3 Apex DLC map Tanoa. I really hadn't played on Tanoa much. I played a little bit on a zombie server, but on this server, it's run by a pretty cool clan, so I thought, I'll try and build a base here. I also tried to land a helicopter in here. It didn't go well. The funniest bit, it wasn't the crash landings that killed me. But this is more of a hermit bush Wookiee base, I would call it. As you can see, I'll go into inventory. I am also still using a DMR-like gun. This one is a little bigger in radius than my last one, because one thing I didn't tell you going over the last base is you do have an item limit. I think that was the same in early Exile. I don't know if it was in DayZ. But, yeah, so this one is more in the woods. I'm literally up what I would call a wild game trail or a foot trail. This is as close as you can come to boarding up a house. They really can't get through back here, although I can glitch out through one of these windows. Not going to do it now because it'd be the one time Arma decided to kill me. And that is my final problem with Exile. And in fact, a lot of these survival games, especially zombie survival game, it doesn't feel very survivory when you are just building bases like I was on Taviana. This feels a little more survivory, but it's still just missing something. I mean, it's like, they can't get through that hole, by the way. I tested it. I'm still going to put something up on it. This server's a slight bit more busy, even though I'm the only one on now. It's a lot of EU servers, and I'm playing during America daytime, so, you know. But it just, somebody needs to continue what they were doing in Arma 2 DayZ, like some of the overclock test builds I saw that other YouTubers played. Because this is fine and all, but it's really a lot of work and something you're actually going to care about when you got to pay money for the frickin' flag. You got to go to all the headache of finding all the parts and pieces. And you can't buy things like axes and the saws at most traders because they have what's known as a respect system in this server. See, I have 8K pop tabs in my locker and I have 2K respect. Now, you only get respect from selling things, going on missions, I assume killing other players. I can't remember. I do know killing AI will get you respect. And it takes a long time to get the respect the respect level or level that they want for you to be able to, buy the basic stuff. It seems kind of counterintuitive and a little wonky because basically a lot of these servers give you a head start on money, or you just find spawn vehicles like I do and sell them immediately to traders, spend a couple hours running around doing that. You sell 5 or 6 vehicles, you're kidded. It seems really stupid to have some of the basic kit, locked away with the respect system. I can understand it for some guns and for tanks and for things of that nature, but an axe and a saw, it seems kind of silly. Given that you have to have, I guess you could look at it the other way in that we give you money, so we don't want everybody building a little base here and there. And that is part of the problem. I would rather just be able to go throw some stuff up on a house, some boarding or move some furniture. And there is the problem of you get too many objects in the world and it is going to start to lag the server. But, no, I'm the only one on the server, but I'm wondering if there's a gear crate over there. Oh, no, that's just the light. That's one of the main or major dirt roads. It's the other reason I picked this place. Really good sniper vantage point, although I usually don't stand up there stupidly like that. I am at least smart enough to do that. Anyway, back to my ranting. So there has to be some kind of system that you could put in place that would allow for boarding and, more survivory aspects without lagging the server into death. Maybe something like Worm Online's decay. If you leave it for too long, it starts to decay, or it decays over time. I just don't know. It's just kind of a pity that it has to be like what's behind me and not not a little more boarded up and survive in the buildings you can go into. Final thing I want to talk about is this little dude. Excuse me. I don't know if this is an Arma add-on or a mod add-on, but it is quite possibly my favorite vehicle in the game at the moment, for a couple of reasons. One, it's not very expensive at a trader. Two, I guess it's going to be more than a couple of reasons. Two, it goes fairly fast for what's basically considered an ATV. And three, it fits up here. Part of the reason I chose this base is because the little foot trail you see here, I'm standing on it. I'll turn on my NVGs. I'm standing on it. Goes down and around and back out to an opening that direction about 400 meters away. And I have a Humvee, a locked Humvee parked down at that end. This thing and a quad is the only thing that will fit up here. Now, if I was on a full server, most players are so lazy that they will not try and come up here with vehicles or tanks. They may come up here on foot and get me, but even that's questionable with how lazy most new bandits are. So I thought, fuck it, I'll live up here. This thing is kind of storage, and I drive it back and forth to my main vehicle, hang out down there. Basically a Humvee parked in a bush. So, you know, it's a lot of fun to drive. I'm eventually going to kill myself with it, I bet. So, yeah, this is a little tour around my Exile bases, what I've been doing in Exile, and a quick tutorial on the, well, not so much a tutorial, hey, look, they added snapping that actually works. But I just realized that I did not lock up my other base before I logged off that server. So, until the next video, guys, I'm out of here. See ya, people.